Now, this is the day that everybody's been waiting for. My family is on my podcast, and I'm so ready for y'all to hear this episode because today we're talking about breaking generational curses. And y'all, I can't even describe how good, how yummy this episode is. But it's my mama and my aunt on this episode talking about what we've gone through, what they've been through, what they've overcame, and advice they would give to other Black families and just families in general that are trying to break generational curses. But y'all sit back and really get ready for this one. Tune in right now. Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Talks to Darius, Deon. I'm so thankful for all y'all that are tuning in and downloading each and every episode. But today I have my family on this episode, and you already know it's going to be a good one just because of that. And we're going to be talking about generational curses. But before we get too much into the topic, we're just going to let them introduce themselves. They're going to tell you their name, their occupation, and just how they've been doing during the pandemic.
Hello, everyone. My name is CC Nicole. I am Darius' mother. My occupation currently, I am a network provider manager for a MCO. During the pandemic, I was laid off. However, I was sustained with unemployment. And of course, as you know, I am working again. But yeah, everything was everything.
Shana?
Hey everybody, I am Darius' aunt. I am Shauna. So for me, the pandemic was great. I know it was probably tragic. A lot of people hit hard times during the pandemic, but for my business, which is Expressions Inc., I have women's clothing. During that time, we did well. So I am very thankful to God for that. And one thing I can say that I learned throughout the pandemic is to just really trust God at all times.
That's good. And before we get into the conversation today, I want to just ask, how has your mental health been during the pandemic as well?
My mental health, from a scale to 1 to 10, I'll say it's about an 8. During the pandemic, that was a great time for me to reflect on me and get me together. So I would say, even though the pandemic may have been catastrophic for some, it was much needed for me for that self-reflection.
That's good. Shauna?
For me, my mental health, I would say probably maybe a 7, 8 throughout the pandemic. One thing I can say is I learned myself more throughout the pandemic because I really did have that time to sit back and, see who are you, what you really don't like. Even in the process of, running a business and all that good stuff, I still had time to be able to do that. So for me, like I said, about a 7 or 8.
All right, that's good. And now we're going to get into our topic of today, and we're talking about generational curses. And so my family is just going to share their testimonies, what we've been through, and just little steps that you can maybe take as well to try to break generational curses in your family. But to start off, Mama, you want to start telling your testimony, maybe a little bit more about you so the viewers can know a little bit more.
Sure. I would say that I went through some very adult things at a very young age for quite some time, which made me a functional depressed person. And of course, I did overcome that, but it did take some work, much prayer, and much self-work. And for right now, I think that's probably all I'm going to say about that.
Mm-hmm. Sean?
As for me, I guess coming up or whatever, I guess I really did not know how to express myself in a healthy way. When it came to talking, to people, whatever the type of environment that we grew up in, you just really wasn't allowed to just express yourself. So because I was not able to really express myself in a healthy way, then of course that led to me, doing other things at an early age. So how that affected me even on over into my adult life, because I was dysfunctional. You know what I'm saying? I was dysfunctional. So, I had to take time to work on me, figure out where I was mentally, try to get myself together spiritually, things that I was taught, unlearn those things to learn new things, to be able to help myself to become a functioning adult and not have all these childhood issues and things like that as an adult.
My next question for the both of you is, what are some struggles do you think our family has faced over the years that it's been hard to try to get over?
I would think the struggle would be a mental struggle. I would think that the struggle of being quiet about family drama and family things that has transpired and went on. And I would say that everything was passed down, of course, from generation to generation. Everything is pathological. Everything is cyclical. And because our families didn't speak about certain things that happened, one thing is passed down from the next generation to the next generation. And we're just basically passing down trauma instead of passing down, wealth. We're passing down trauma, which, as my sister had mentioned, and make us grow up in a dysfunctional environment. But that's one thing that I can say is the mental.
Shauna?
I would agree with my sister, mental, and just trauma, period. One parent, or both parents may experience trauma from their parents. So because it's not properly dealt with, like sister said, it's passed down from generation to generation. And you are dealing with a generational curse of trauma, a generational curse of being dysfunctional, a generational curse of not knowing how to properly love. You know what I'm saying? People may not look at those things as a generational thing, but I bet you if you go back and do some history, you know what I'm saying, you would find, oh, my grandmama did such and such, and oh, my mama doing the same thing. Oh, my daddy doing, the same thing or whatever. And I just think even as us, we didn't really realize at the time, you know what I'm saying, because we were younger, what was really going on. But as we grew older, we found out a lot of things that were passed down that we were doing out of habit. You know what I'm saying? Those were generational things that were passed down. Those things, you know what I'm saying, wasn't good, holding on to hurt, for example. You know what I'm saying? You holding on to hurt, or if someone says something to you, you don't know how to communicate properly, your next thing to do would be to cuss them out or to fight. Why? Because that's something that I saw my mama do. That's something that I saw my daddy do. That's something that they saw their parents do. So what happens? It transferred on down to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm speaking for me, y'all. So y'all that don't know, in regards to cussing and fighting, not properly communicating like you should. You know what I'm saying? That's a hindrance. You may not realize it, but it is, and that's something that I know that we experience in our family, just not communicating. Something happens, whether it's good or bad, and you don't say nothing, you hold it in. And then something I learned too, with not communicating properly, you hold it in, especially if it's something that hurts or something that causes any type of pain or anything to you, you hold it in, you begin to hurt yourself. You know what I'm saying? Not enough, sometimes in a physical way, but most of the time in emotional, in a mental way, you begin to hurt yourself because you don't know how to properly communicate, how to properly get those things out, because that was not taught. You know what I'm saying? The way we came up, you pray it out. Jesus gonna fix everything. I'm not saying that he's not going to fix everything, but in certain cases, there's a conversation that needs to be had. You know what I'm saying? You need to sit down and you need to talk. You need to talk those things out or whatever. Even I touch on, even as far as going to therapy, that was uncommon. That wasn't a thing in our household coming up. Therapy, you ain't crazy. You better go pray. You better go bind the devil. You better go tell the Lord to fix your mind. True indeed. But I need to go lay on somebody's couch. I need to go talk to somebody. So communication, you know what I'm saying, even passed down through generations. It wasn't an open line of communication. We came up, I'm the adult, you the child, sit your ass down, do like I said, don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, hey, let me have a conversation. I need to express this to you. That was not it. So what happens is fear begins to set up, well, dang, I can't go talk to my mama, you know, because she ain't gonna do nothing but slap me upside my head or tell me to shut up or tell me to go, you know what I'm saying? So then that begins to build up fear in a child. And I said all that to say because, and honestly, not just our house, I'm sure a lot of Black families that happens. Mm-hmm. You know, grandmama said, shut up, sit down, that's what you did. Your mama said, shut up, sit down, that's what you did. You get your kids, shut up, sit down, don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm the mama, you the child type thing. So people have to look at it when it comes to generational things. There are many things that are passed down from generation to generation. And you probably don't even realize that you're doing those things because they have become a habit. They've become a part of you.
Yeah. I mean, that leads me right into my next question. That is, like, was it hard breaking those bad habits or really trying to turn your own life around to help your own family?
I would say yes and no. To me, that's kind of a complex question because when we have been conditioned and trained to think a certain way, to act a certain way, it is hard to break those habits, especially when it comes to generational curses, because our grandmothers and great-great-great-grandmothers and so on and so forth were oppressed, and their voices were oppressed and suppressed, you know, by the people that they were enslaved by. That thing was, you know, that PTSD and that trauma was transferred from generation to generation. So it's like, as my sister referenced, you know, it's like, well, this goes on, don't say nothing, you know, you brush it up under the rug, you know what I'm saying? Or if this goes on, or I'm gonna spank you, I'm with you, you know, don't say anything. So I would say that a lot of things have been, we have been oppressed and suppressed into covering up. And because of that, you know, we have PTSD. And because of that, we are automatically trained and conditioned to survive. We're not automatically trained and conditioned to love. And one thing about breaking those generational curses, when you become awakened, you become knowledgeable of that. You know, for me, for instance, I've had to realize that I was raised and conditioned on survival, not on per se love, because I was placed in uncompromised positions and situations where I had to do what I had to do in order to survive. So the defense mechanisms are just, I'm automatically going into survival mode, you know, and not love mode, because I didn't receive anything else to nurture that part of me, that loving part of me, excuse me. So in breaking the generational curses, it is a journey. You have to be steadfast. You have to be unmovable. You have to be like that tree standing by the rivers of living water, and you have to stand, and you have to be able to have the discipline to unlearn the things that you've been taught. Because we think that great-great-great-grandmama and big mama Neil was just so right, and some of the stuff that they were taught and they passed down to us was not right at all. You know what I'm saying? And we become robotic and conditioned, and then we live our lives like that accordingly. Well, God said, well, he came that we might have life and that more abundantly. So if he came that I might have life and that more abundantly, then I need to free myself mentally so I can clearly see, so I can live that abundant life. Because under that generational curse, we can't be free like we need to be free, because we've been conditioned to think a certain way. We've been conditioned to see a certain way. We've been conditioned to live our lives through survival mode instead of in love. So to break those generational curses, I would say yes and no, because sometimes along that path, it is an easy path. You're like, okay, well, I got over that hump. All right, I did good. And then sometimes due to the trauma that we experience, especially with me, I may have, you know, triggers or something that may set me off. And I may have to work through that trigger. You know, I may have to affirm myself. I may have to meditate. I may have to take deep breaths. I may have to pray. I may have to like, you know what, Lord, I just don't know. You know what I'm saying? But that's the hard part for me is knowing, acknowledging it, and trying to condition myself to act and think in another way. Because knowing that, and then it's easy in itself because once you acknowledge it, you see it.
Yes.
You see differently once you acknowledge, oh, that's where this is coming from. And even with our grandmothers and mothers and fathers and so on, they didn't talk about a whole lot of this stuff that's went on. So as I'm getting older and I'm able to see it as an adult, because when I was a child, I thought as a child, I seen things as a child. Now I'm able to process things a little bit more and understand, like, okay, my mama and my daddy were humans as well. They are flawed as well. But at the same time, okay, well, let's hold them accountable for these certain areas here. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, but they don't know. Mm-hmm. And if they don't know, they can't teach me. They can't, inform me. But just in conversations, in passing with my mother and even with my father, I'm learning things like, oh, that's why I do that. Or, oh, that's why I act like that. Oh, well, really? That's what happened with grandpa? Oh, that's, you know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. So it's really a learning experience and an unlearning experience when it comes to breaking generational curses. And it can be complex depending on your situation and circumstances. You know what I'm saying? So.
That's good. Shauna, your take on it?
Give me the question one more time, Darius.
What was it like, for you? Was it hard for you to break those bad habits and maybe turn your own life around for your family?
Was it hard? Yes. And it was hard because I was used to doing things a certain way. Mm-hmm. And you know how when you come into the knowledge of something, you teeter-totter back and forth. Well, dang, my mama didn't do it like that. You know what I'm saying? Or my granny didn't do it. That ain't what my granny did because, you was taught something for so long. So I only had tunnel vision, right? I can only see one way. But then as I began to really change my mindset, and I'll be like, girl, this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So then I'm having to pull myself up out of a rut. Like, Shauna, you got to change. You know what I'm saying? So for me, yes, it was because I was conditioned to think, feel, even all the way down to my food. Example, we fried chicken, we're going to eat chicken, cornbread, and greens. You cannot give me no chicken without no seasoning on it. It's a problem, right? Because we know it's going to taste different. That's how it was. You can't tell me something else and you telling me this is right. No. So, yeah, it was hard mentally. So I will first say it's really a mindset thing, getting your mind in order, and retraining your mind, even setting discipline in place. You know what I'm saying? Creating a healthy routine, for yourself. Cause it's a process. It's work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You get up in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm going to have this time with God. I'm going to pray. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to maybe read my Bible, listen to me something that's inspirational, that's going to help build me up. Then I may go work out, like literally building a healthy routine to begin pulling myself up out of that rut, because for everybody, it's not as easy. You know what I'm saying? I'm 37 years old. So you can imagine, I got 37 years plus, if I count when I'm born or whatever, I got 37 years of shit off on the inside of me. I got to try to clean out. I got to clean my colon out. You know what I'm saying? I got to get all that to come up out of me. So, you know what I'm saying? When you look at it like that, it's kind of like you're losing weight, right? You know what I'm saying? You shedding off this excess weight that you have on you. And that's kind of how I look at it. You're shedding off this excess weight because you had all these weights on you all of these years. You know what I'm saying? That's how you thought it was supposed to go. So I would say yes for me, because it was more so of a mental aspect, changing my way of thinking and then going back and setting healthy things in place for me to be able to come up out of it. Because like I said previously, going to therapy, there wasn't a part of my upbringing.
Yeah.
My therapy was Jesus, him crucified, the death, the burial, the resurrection. Go get me some oil. You know what I'm saying? And you go pray.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely nothing wrong with it. You need all of it, right?
Yeah.
But you need to talk to somebody physically from time to time. You need to go lay on that couch and let them give you a worksheet, crossword puzzle or something, help you get the stuff up out of you. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, just for those that's listening, it is a journey to be a healthy you, a healed you. You know what I'm saying? I know people use the term awakening or healing. Hey, that stuff is real. You do need to be healed from some of that mess you went through. I'm a living witness, because you don't want to carry all of that around with you.
That's good. Mama, you have something?
And I would say also, you have to come to a point in your life where you just get tired.
Yeah.
You have to be tired, and you have to be ready and willing to change, because growth is inevitable. So, and in order to elevate, you have to be able to grow. So you have to be able to get tired of thinking the way you thinking, living the way you thinking, reacting the way you acting, and have the ability and the strength to change that.
Amen. I mean, that leads me to my next question. And from everything you guys experienced, what kept you pushing and going and striving for better days, even still today? Mom, if you want to start, since your mic is already off mute.
I would say my kids. My kids are the ones that kept me living. My kids are the ones that kept me striving. My kids are the ones that kept me going.
Yeah.
Just living off the strength of their love, and like, okay, well, I got to make it happen for them, because ain't nobody else gonna make this happen for them. I'm the only one that's gonna do it. So I got to make it, make it happen. So I would say, yeah.
That's good. Sean?
For me, my kids as well. Because like Sister said, we was the only one that's gonna be able to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Hell, y'all watch us. You know what I'm saying? So if we crazy, and y'all gonna be a tad bit thrown off. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, most definitely, because even in the process, I give the example of even running a business. You know what I'm saying? Like, my kids can see that, right? They can see, inventory, or mama working. You know what I'm saying? They can see, those things, which I feel like will help them later in life. Oh, because it's like, oh, my mama did that. You know what I'm saying? My mama started a business. My mama was successful in her business. So now I can do that. So my kids really keep me going, even though sometimes it appears as though they are not even paying me no attention. They ain't even thinking about me. You know what I'm saying? But I know that they are watching just in some of the small things, you know what I'm saying, that they do. So for me, my why, my reasoning is my kids to be able to show them, hey, listen, you can accomplish things. Hey, you can live a healthy life. Hey, you can live a healed life. Hey, you can communicate properly or whatever. And it's kind of like they say, they're putting it in place to where, hey, this generation of curse stops with me. It's not going to be passed down to another generation. Now, this right here is going to stop with me. And because it stops with me, now I'm going to put these healthy things in place so that you can see how to fully live.
That leads me to my next question. Is there anything you guys would say to your younger selves? What would be something you would say? Any advice? Whichever one y'all want to go first.
If I could tell the young. Hey, listen, I was tough. You hear me? If I could tell the younger Shauna something, it probably would be, girl, shut up. I would probably tell myself to shut up, because for those of y'all who don't know me, I still got a mouth. It's kind of mild now. It's gonna calm down a little bit now. I would also tell my younger self, to calm down, because, you know what I'm saying, I was very feisty. And hostile.
Mm-hmm.
I was angry. I would tell myself that it's gonna be all right.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell myself that, girl, if you could only see you 10 years from now, you would be all right. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could tell my younger self what my older self is doing right now, so that I could see, you know what I'm saying, what my outcome was going to be, to give me some type of vision. Because I can say when I was younger, I really didn't have clear vision to be able to see, to be able to dream, to be able to set goals. You know what I'm saying? I would tell my younger self, girl, it's going to be all right. And I would say, girl, who would have ever thought, you know what I'm saying, the high school dropout, the teen mama, you know what I'm saying, all of those things that I went through at an early age, that I would be where I am now. But most of all, I would tell myself to shut up and tell myself, girl, it's going to be all right.
That's good. Mama?
That is a very good question. I would tell myself to run. Run and holler and scream as fast as you can. And I would also tell myself that she's safe and that she is worthy. And at the end, she beat the odds and it's okay. But yeah, that's what I would tell myself.
That's good. That's so good. And if there's anything you guys would say to families maybe going through struggles, trying to break cycles in their families as well, what would be some advice you would give them?
I would say seek therapy and effectively communicate. Surround yourself with a village that's going to support you and your goals and what you got going on mentally. And then I say set healthy boundaries. Learn how to say no.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Sean?
I would say you need Jesus and you need therapy. They both work hand in hand. Don't be so heavily minded that you are no earthly good. This for all my church folks out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't just push Jesus to where you can't see nothing that's going on in the natural. Because you can be so spiritual and high on the horse to where you miss the small things in the natural to be able to help you or help your child or help the next family member. You know what I'm saying? So Jesus and you need therapy. You need both of them. I would also say having open lines of communications help. Tell your children their history. They need to know where they come from. You know what I'm saying? Stop withholding all of these family secrets, these things that nobody wants to get out. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the history. Your children and even yourself would be able to better understand why you think the way you think, why you operate the way you operate. If you still have some of your elders that are living, honey, catch them in one of those moods when they want to talk. So you can know what your granny did, your great-grandmother, because they need to know their history. You need to know where you come from. I remember when me and my sister found out that my grandfather's sister, she was in the Air Force. When we found that out, and we was like, child, we didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? It changed our whole view, right? We was like, child, we didn't know we had somebody in the Air Force. Even my grandmother, when my grandmother passed, I never knew how involved she was in politics in the town that she lived in. I never knew that she knew the mayor. You know what I'm saying? Because my grandmother, she didn't share those type of things. Yeah. The only thing she told us was to get your books. We never knew why she was telling us to get our books, right? But she only said, get your books. So that's what I mean by saying, having that open communication. You know what I'm saying? Share some of those things, because when you share those things, you just may give your child, you may give yourself, you may give your grandchildren, a niece, a nephew, or somebody hope or life or vision. You know what I'm saying? A drive will be like, dang, I didn't know that. So let me go ahead and take off and do that. So I think open communication is good, and stop holding so many secrets and feeling ashamed. And then also, don't try and live through your children, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Some people will try and live through their children or grandchildren and try to impress things, you know what I'm saying, up on them. Allow them to find their way with guidance. You know what I'm saying? Allow them to find their way with guidance. But I think open communication, Jesus in therapy, you'll be all right.
That's so good. I mean, I hope anybody that is still listening so far is taking all of this advice and insight, because it's going to be so useful to you and your family. But my last question, just to lighten the mood, is what is y'all's dreams and goals for the next 5 to 10 years for yourselves?
Child, my dreams and goals is to be a multi-millionaire.
Hey.
That's it.
Okay, Shawnee.
So my dreams and goals for the next 5 years is actually to have my business flourishing and operating all the way fully effective. That's my dream, to be able to have my business operating fully and effective, be a known business, you know, just through our social media, word of mouth, all that good stuff. And just have a healthy business and living life spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. Yes, because money helps. Amen. Money helps. Amen.
All right, y'all. This has been such a great episode. I'm just so thankful to have my family on here talking about our problems, but everything that we went through and we've overcome. It's just so beautiful to see two women that I look up to, that keep me pushing, keep me driving, become two beautiful new people. And just, I mean, I don't know, it inspires me so much. But I thank you guys so much for listening. I thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you really take something from this. But this is Talks with Darius, Deon. Y'all want to tell them bye before we say something?
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
All right, y'all. This is Talks with Darius, Deon, and we'll see you later.